Alright, so yeah, I haven't posted anything for a while. And I know this is primarily a gaming channel, really, I guess. Even though I don't really put much on it anymore. Mainly because I don't really game that much anymore. Actually, this is kind of one of the reasons why this is one of the things I like to talk about. Is because recently I've had a tough time and I've not really found enjoyment in things very often. I don't really see myself enjoying too much anymore. It's one of the reasons I don't review movies, one of the reasons I don't do video game footage or review video games. However, one of the things I do still like to do and like to watch, like to watch, is wrestling. And it's been obviously, if you've seen my videos, any of you have watched my videos, I've done WWE footage, I've done, WWE 12 and all that kind of thing, and 13, well, not any of 13 actually, because that game was a bit of a disappointment. But yeah, I got into wrestling 2000, in 2000, what year? 2000, so when like The Rock was pretty big and all that, and I was a fan anyway. I mean, I was a fan back when I was a kid, but it was more just kind of because it was, what's this weird thing, all these weird costumes and weird characters and cool moves and just the music and the whole thing of it and the merchandise as well. It was all very larger than life, the usual reason people get into wrestling. But I wasn't into it. I just liked the toys and I liked the idea, and I knew Hulk Hogan, I knew the Ultimate Warrior, all that kind of stuff. But then, I didn't watch any of it until, let's say, 2000, when I was about 14, 13. And then I got into it, and then I was pretty much a fan till now. It comes and goes. I've seen it live several times. I saw it live, and then I didn't see it live for about 7 years, and I went recently. And I have to say, elements of it, I still got into it, but there was elements of it that I wasn't as keen on. But but I've been a fan still all the way through. I did go for a stage where I didn't have Sky, which is like the big kind of cable type TV company over here, and I did where they'd air the different things. We didn't have Sky Sports, which is their sports wing, obviously, of channels, and we didn't have that for a while. So I did go through about 5 years of and now we still don't have sports. So I don't watch Raw. I went through a stage where I didn't watch the weekly show Raw every week, or SmackDown. But what I'd always do is I'd either watch it online, or I went for a stage even when I didn't watch it online, but I'd always read about it. I check the wrestling news sites several times a day. I'm always keeping up with it, and I think it's something that'll always stay with me, because wrestling is one of these things that usually you get into early, and then by the age of like 18, you either stick with it or you don't. That's usually what it is. Either by the age of 18 you don't watch it anymore, or if you do, then you're pretty much with it for the rest of your life. And I'm well past 18 now, so I'm in it. And one of the things, obviously one of the biggest shows is WrestleMania, and WrestleMania. They say it's their biggest show, but I always say, it's what you make of it, and they're not making much of it lately, in the last several years particularly, and this year. So yeah, it was a big introduction, but okay, WrestleMania 29. It's probably the strangest, most just mismatched looking WrestleMania card I have seen since I've been a fan. And I don't count WrestleMania 2000, which was what was that? I mean, that was just such a mix of well, it was tag matches basically, but but anyway, since I've been watching, so 17 and onwards, WrestleMania 17 and onwards, so 2001 I guess and onwards, WrestleMania wise. Okay, so basically to me it's almost as if they looked at what the ideal matches and the matches that made sense would be, and then just decided, no, we won't do that, let's just do something else. Honestly, I mean, where do we start? Okay, I should really have the list of matches in front of me. I don't. Okay, the Funkadactyls thing, and the match with Funkadactyls. What a weird thing to say in a video. Yeah, the Brodus Clay thing and Albert. yeah, you know, that's should be the pre-show. Why Barrett Miz is the pre-show, I don't know, and I'm not just saying that because I'm British. I don't know why Barrett should be in, or Miz for that matter. I like Miz. I mean, a lot of people don't like Miz. Miz is fine. I have no problem with him main event in WrestleMania. Looking back, it's kind of weird because it's kind of match you're just going to Raw every week now, John Cena and Miz. But you know, I didn't mind it. The match itself wasn't good at all. Really, it was all right. The best moment. Sorry, I'm going about something else now. But the best moment in Miz and John Cena in that match, and to me, this was what I always think. This is when I believe that they gave Miz the ball. It wasn't when he got the title. It was at WrestleMania when they decided they really believed in the Miz. Because if you think about it, at WrestleMania 27, which was a shocking WrestleMania, at WrestleMania 27, Miz was the heel, was the bad guy going in, right? Okay, great. And for a heel to go to WrestleMania, right, against John Cena, the biggest guy they have, to win. Granted with help, but still to win. You know, heels don't usually defend titles at WrestleMania. It hasn't happened many times. I can recall, I think Randy Orton did, and Triple H did in 2000. But it doesn't happen often. And not only that did he win, there was a moment where John Cena did this huge FU, his big move. The actual adjustment, sorry, I was saying I'm an old fan, so I may refer to people either by different names, like Albert, I call Tensai Albert, and the FU, not the attitude adjustment. Like they had him kick out of the F5, which is a big thing. I mean, the FU, sorry, which is a big thing. I mean, for a heel to kick out legit of a big move like that, it was insane, because that finish was a perfect kind of heel getting his comeuppance finish, because they had him accidentally hit that guy that was with him. I can't remember what his name was. Alex Riley. I love that. Fans went crazy for Alex Riley for about 2 seconds. Oh my god, he's got this really cool theme tune. He's really going to do well. Yeah, well, the theme tune wasn't that good. And there you go. Zack Ryder. But he basically did all that, and then that was a really cool move, and he kicked out, and it was amazing. And I've completely lost my point. Oh, yeah, Miz and Barrett. Barrett, yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to go over. I think Barrett maybe. I don't know why, but I think Barrett maybe. Oh no, wait a minute. Maybe not. Because very sadly, unfortunately, Ric Flair's son passed away recently. Last few days actually. And Miz has started to use the figure 4 leg lock, so maybe actually as a tribute to Ric Flair's family, they might have Miz go over. That's actually could happen, actually thinking about it. Maybe Miz will go over, but you know, at a push I actually would say Barrett. Had that not happened, I would say Barrett. Why that's the pre-show, I don't know. Search me. And why Money in the Bank isn't at WrestleMania anymore, again, I don't know. It was the perfect vehicle for new talent to really shine. I mean, to me, the key player in all those matches has always been Shelton Benjamin. The move he did at 21 up the ladder was phenomenal. It was amazing. All the stuff he did in that match, the T-bone suplex, it was shockingly good. I don't know, you know. I will admit, though I am a wrestling fan, I don't watch the indie stuff, and that's really bad to say. I will say, and I'm not going to lie about it, I'm really exclusively WWE. I'd love to see Shelton come back. I know he does. Obviously, I know I know there is a life outside WWE. I know I think he did Japan, didn't he, for a while? And was he he's an RH, definitely an RH. And I wish he'd come back. But anyway, yes, Money in the Bank off the show. I don't know why. I really don't. That baffles me, and it will never fail to baffle me. I've always think that was a shame that they got rid of that, because I think it's a great showcase for talent. Okay, so that's Barrett and Thing. So I'm really just riffing here. Right, so Barrett and Thing. Sandow. I did the Funkadactyls. That's a Sandow match. I see Sandow and Codes going over on that one. Okay, what we got here? I'm not really here to give predictions. I actually just meant to talk about the matches in general. Let's go to Team Hell No and Ziggler and Big E. I'm a huge Ziggler fan. I'm almost a Ziggler mark. I'm a huge Ziggler fan, honestly. I think he's a little, like, not his character, I mean, like, him and himself, he's a little arrogant in the sense that he does this stuff that kind of Zack Ryder does, where he kind of complains about what he should be. And, you know, he's talented, he's very talented, he deserves to be better on the card than he is. And I don't like the mindset of I understand it, but I don't like, even wrestling fans as well, sometimes you hear people say, you know, oh, this guy, he's just a mid-carder. He's a mid-carder because people have shown that because the WWE have made him a mid-carder. It's just a mindset thing. It's like when people say, oh, I could never, like when you hear like actors in different roles, oh, like, you know, oh, wait a minute, that guy was meant to get that role in that film. I never could have imagined him as that. Like, what? Oh, no, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis was definitely the best pick for you know, Daniel Plainview or Lincoln. Well, yeah, but that's because he was Lincoln and Daniel Plainview. You know what I mean? That's because he was. If somebody else had been him, you would have gone, well, no, that guy was the best guy. It's because what we know, as I said in the Truman Show, we accept the reality in which we are presented. And, yeah, Ziggler is marketed as an undercard, and I think, or a mid-card, sorry, not undercard, a mid-card. And I think he does. I mean, obviously he's got the Money in the Bank briefcase, but I think he does deserve to be on that higher echelon. His mic skills, I mean, you know, take or leave that. I mean, they're not great. But they're not bad. I mean, I like the promo he did with Foley, where he made fun of Foley at the Rumble. God, that was ages ago now. That was the last Rumble. That wasn't this Rumble. That was the Rumble before. Jesus. Man, time flies. Oh, that scares me. Yeah, so I see Team Hell No going over here. I do. I see Team Hell No going over, definitely. Now, Del Rio and Swagger. Will Ziggler cash it in? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'd like to think yes. I'd love to hear his theme music hit at the end of the match. I think it'd be brilliant. But I don't know. The match itself, Swagger and Del Rio, not fussed. I like Del Rio. I don't particularly not bothered about Swagger. I prefer Del Rio as a bad guy, as a heel, by like a billion miles. But Swagger, I mean, he's alright. I mean, he's better now maybe than he was before. But I don't know. I think the whole racist storyline that they have going on, kind of, I mean, Jack Swagger being a racist, doesn't really, I think it's already worn off for me, which is a shame, because I think it could have had more wheels, but for me personally it's kind of already gone, which, you know, is what it is. There you go. What else is quite good? So yeah, I basically, if Swagger wins, there won't be any cash in. What I see happening is, what I hope happens is that Del Rio goes over, and then Zeb and Thingy attack Del Rio, and then obviously Ziggler cashes in. Now, here's a good thing about Ziggler. Here we go. This was my dream Ziggler scenario at WrestleMania. This was the one I had pictured that I thought would be amazing. You had Taker in his streak, right? Have Taker have the title, right? Imagine Taker has the World Heavyweight belt. You put him against Ziggler, okay, and you have a match, a great match. And Taker goes over, he wins, and retains the title. Okay? So Taker would then be 21-0. Right? Great. Have Ziggler beat down Taker with a chair. Remember, Ziggler has the Money in the Bank. Beat him down, beat the crap out of him. Now, my idea would be this. What I'd really like is he beat the crap out of him, then left. Ziggler walked up the ramp, left it a minute, then his music hits again. Right? I honestly think that would be amazing. If that was to happen, imagine that. To have him beat down Taker with a chair. He's already won, so Taker would be 21-0. Beat him down with a chair. I think the leaving is important. I don't think cashing it in right there is good, because the leaving gives the surprise. So he leaves, give it a minute, boom, his music hits. I'm here to show the world. And then he comes out, cashes it in, and beats Taker at WrestleMania. But they can always say that it was kind of unfair, and they can say, or they can even say he's still undefeated at WrestleMania if they want. But I think that would be a perfect heel move for Ziggler and would really put him over. But that's not happening, because Taker is fighting Punk, which we'll get to later. Right, what else is on the card? The United States title isn't on the card. What else is on the card? Oh, Fandango and Jericho. I mean, Fandango and Jericho, I don't really know. I haven't seen any of Fandango's in-ring work, so I don't really know what he's like. Jericho is obviously proven. I've so much more respect for Jericho now since he's come back. I mean, the guy, he's just such a kind of, maestro of different parts of entertainment, and he comes back into wrestling, and unlike The Rock, and I'm not dissing The Rock, I'm not doing too much of a diss, but Jericho does house shows. He does house shows are non-recorded shows for anyone who doesn't know. And I think that's brilliant to have someone who doesn't need to do it to actually come back and fully commit 100%, and that's great. So yeah, that's Jericho. I see Fandango going over. No, do you know what? I don't. I see Jericho going over, actually. Don't know why I did that. I see Jericho going over. I don't know why. I just think that's going to happen. I think Jericho's going to go over, which I'd be fine with. Unless Jericho's going to go away. Actually, no. Unless Jericho goes away, then maybe not. I don't know. If Jericho goes away again, they might want to give Fandango the push on his exit, but we'll see. The Shield. I've kind of lost all interest in this match. The Shield, Roman Reigns, and all the rest of them versus Randy Orton, Big Show, and Sheamus. I think there might be a heel turn in this one, but I can't decide whether it's going to be Big Show or Randy. I don't know. And I don't think it'll be like they'll join the Shield, unless maybe it's the Big Show. But I don't think it'll be they join the Shield. I think it'll be more just Randy will snap or something and attack one of either Big Show or Thing, or Big Show will attack one of Randy or Sheamus. But I don't think Randy would join the Shield. I think Big Show might, but I don't think Randy would. Not would. You know what I mean? They book him to join it, not would as in actually would, as in reality. But yeah, I don't know who's going to go over the Shield. I think possibly. What else is there on? I had another one. I had it and I lost it. Oh, Ryback and Mark Henry. I don't give a shit. Ryback. But thing is, again, it's just the booking this year is just so weird, because they just didn't know. They didn't know what they wanted to do, because they had Ryback. They teased it. It's just ridiculous. They teased a thing with Jericho and Ryback at one point, where they had that kind of stare off. They teased that. They had Ryback during the tag match against the Shield. Then they took him out. But at the same time they had that build with Mark Henry. Just get your fucking heads together. I mean, it's like they had so many backup plans. It's like, decide what you want to do and do it or don't do it. Just do what you want, but just commit to it. That was ridiculous. And then Jericho, he had basically an already pre-made feud with Ziggler. They just didn't bother with that. Don't know why. They then kind of decided, maybe he should be in a triple threat with Barrett and Miz, or maybe just Barrett one-on-one, and then they ditched that, and then they had him with Fandango. It's just a complete fucking mess. I can't remember last time it was this much of a mess. So that's a match. I'm sure I'm forgetting one. There's quite a few on the card. Thing is, there's so many on the card, but I just don't give a shit about so many of them. Okay, if I missed one, I do apologise, but let's just skip on now and go to the main events, as it were. Let's start with Lesnar and Triple H. Lesnar and Triple H. You know what? I'm looking forward to it more as it goes along. Adding Shawn was utterly pointless. I don't care. I don't need to see Shawn Michaels. And you know what? Hate me if you like. Shawn Michaels is one of the best in-ring workers around. I mean, he really is. He's great. I love his match. His match with Taker. His matches with... he had a match with Mankind back in the 90s that was really good. His matches with Triple H. His matches with Bret Hart. They're amazing. I'm not dissing his in-ring ability. I'm not even dissing his mic work. There's one thing I think he's not good at. Is he overacts in the ring. And I'm not talking about the deliberate overacting in the Hulk Hogan match to kind of, to make Hogan look small and make fun of him. I'm talking about just generally. I think he does a little too much in the ring with his face. And sometimes his humour, I don't like the DX humour. I think it's stupid. Yeah, we get it. You've got merchandise now available at shop. It's like, well, shut up. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, Shawn's in his corner, Triple H's corner. Don't really understand why that has to happen particularly. but it's happening. So it is what it is. Triple H is. I sound like Truth Slayer now. It is what it is, and so he's in his corner. Lesnar, Triple H is going to win, obviously, because he put Brock over at SummerSlam, so he's going to win. I don't know, because I'm not the biggest fan of the whole Brock UFC. I mean, I like UFC and I'd watch UFC, but I like it in the UFC world. I don't like UFC coming to WWE that much, because I don't know. I don't mean to sound pansy or whatever, but I watch WWE for the fact that there are storylines, that it is predetermined. I like that. I love wrestling more now. Since when I learnt that, whatever, which I knew straight away, I think, as soon as I got into it, because I was 14 at the time. So, but I like that. I never think it's a bad thing. It's great. It's great to know how it works, and I know how matches are gonna. I've known it long enough now to predict how matches are gonna go in terms of when people might reverse things and so on and so forth. You learn the flow and you learn the rhythm, and I think that's great. I get more thrill out of that. And I love when they surprise you as well. So I personally love that side of it. But at the same time, Triple H is going to win. So but the whole kind of having UFC, having a more real style. I mean, it works a couple of times, but I just think it should stick where it is. And I personally don't like the crossover. Lesnar's great. I mean, but I think the match is going to be good. I think Lesnar would never have been half as good if Paul Heyman wasn't with him. Back when he debuted. Heyman adds a lot. He adds a lot to the package. I don't think anybody quite realises if you took Heyman away, Lesnar would be a lot less interesting. Because that whole promo recently when he attacked Vince, Lesnar, Heyman made that promo. I'm sorry, he made it. Having Lesnar, imagine if you hadn't had Heyman there, right? And you had Lesnar go up against Vince, okay? What made that good was having Heyman there, and I love the way he approached this. He didn't approach it as kind of get him, Brock. He begged Brock not to do it, and he begged Vince to get out of the ring. I love that, because it added to the danger when he was like, Vince, just leave, just go, because you do not want to know what's going to happen, just leave. And he didn't do it as a threatening way, he almost did it sympathetically. It was brilliant. It was like, Vince, I'm begging you, I applaud you, just leave. If for your own health, leave. And that was such a great, oh man, that guy just knows what to do. And the match itself, I think it'll be just the basic Lesnar Triple H fare, really. I don't think it'll be much more than anything else. Okay, Punk and Taker. Now. Let's get into this, shall we? It shouldn't be happening. I don't think it should be happening. I'm not talking about the Paul Bearer storyline. I'll get into that later. But no, the whole Taker Punk thing. I mean, Taker shouldn't be doing another one. 20-0 was a great way to finish. And I know I said if Ziggler was to... I think I would make the exception for Ziggler, because I'm a Ziggler fan. But yeah, I mean, Taker and Punk... Taker should have left at the end of the era thing. Punk should be in a triple threat with Rock and Cena. Or either against just The Rock or Cena. But we'll get into that a bit later. But again, it was just evidence of the poor booking. The match itself, it's like he had to win a battle royal to face The Undertaker. I mean, you didn't need to do that. You could have had, I don't get it, because you could have had, they already knew that's what they were going to go for, because they had Punk the week before go, I'm God, all that kind of thing. Obviously with Taker and the whole death thing, and then him saying God, that's what they were going for, and building it up there. So they didn't need to do a Battle Royal. The only reason to do a Battle Royal was obviously they didn't have a main event in mind. And also, the only reason I thought they'd need to do something like that was if they just didn't know who they wanted at the time. And they kind of were going to decide on the fly, maybe. I don't know. But they could have just built it up like that. They didn't need to have him win a right to face The Undertaker. And it just kind of lessened the match for me. Besides the fact Punk should be in the main event, and I'm not saying that as a Punk mark. He botched a fuckload more than John Cena did at Money in the Bank, and I don't care what you say. He botched way more, and he botches a lot. But yeah, his charisma, personally, is his selling point, I think. I don't think it is the wrestling. He's a great wrestler, but I don't think it is. I think it is his charisma that is the main point to him. And that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing, as DDP would say. But... yeah, so I don't know. Taker's going to win, but I'd love it if Punk win just to get rid of the streak. I think it would be cool, but I don't think he's the right guy to do it. Just that he wants to take time off anyway, so why give it him if he's just going to take time off and not be there to build on it? There's no point. And Taker, but then again, Taker goes, so there's no point in him winning. But the thing is, it almost means less if Taker. Obviously, it means less if Taker won, but if Taker wins, it means less. So you don't need to build on that because it's expected. So Taker doesn't need to be there to build on it. So they can they can have him win and he can go, but it's just like, oh well, the streak's still intact. There's nothing to add on. But whereas if Punk won, you need him there to brag on it and take the most of it and make the most of it to further his career. So yeah, but Taker's going to win. The match itself, I think it's going to be very good. It could be the show stealer. But yeah, and then the pallbearer stuff. I mean, my opinion on the pallbearer stuff is the unfortunate passing of William. Is it William Moody? William Moody. That's a shame. He is a great character within the wrestling business, and it was a shame to see him go. And capitalizing on it. I mean, the thing is, it's. I don't mind it. You know, I think they went to his family and they said, "Can we use this as part of the storyline?" And as long as they did that, I mean. And recently the family have come out and said that what happened on this week's Raw was different to what they pitched to them. But what I think they meant, I think more was, I don't think WWE maybe deliberately deceived them. I think it's just they told what the idea was, and I think just the reality of seeing it, the idea of seeing it on paper than the reality of seeing it on the screen was different. I think that's all it was. I think it was just more like, okay, they read it for, oh, okay. But obviously when something, you know, anything in life, you know, the idea of it is great, and then you have to live up to that and kind of take it and deal with it and make the most of it. I think that's more of what it was. I didn't mind the whole Ash thing. I mean, you know, people say they want the Attitude Era back, and then people complain. So I don't really know, to be honest. But it was weird. It was definitely weird. But it was good for the heat for Punk. Saying that, if he's going, maybe it wasn't. I mean, if he's going to go, what was the point? But oh well. Anyway, I'm babbling. Yeah, Taker's going to win. Right, this is like going to be 40 minutes long. Rock and Cena. Woo, Rock and Cena. Twice in a lifetime. And everybody says it, but it's true. They did this match. For anyone who doesn't know, they did this match before, and they built it as once in a lifetime, and then they're doing it again. This time it's for the title, so you know who's going to win. Because obviously the Rock's the champion, so you know he does move his. Apparently he's booked for the next pay-per-view, but I don't. Cena's going to win, I think. I don't know. I'd love a Cena heel turn. I really would. To me, I'd really like a hark back to WrestleMania 17, where Austin won. That kind of idea that it was just too big for him, that he couldn't lose, and that's kind of what they're building. But they did that last year, and he didn't turn heel. But this time, I think it might happen. Obviously, got the merchandise shit and all that. You know, would they do it? But I don't know. And they haven't got Ray, have they, anymore? So he doesn't really sell merchandise. I don't know. But no, I see Cena winning, I think. But I hope for a heel turn. I really do. I really, really do. I'd love the whole kind of Austin thing to play out, and maybe even to the point where at the beginning of the match they go, "This match is now no disqualification," because to me that was one of the best parts of that match with The Rock at 17 was that kind of like, oh shit, and that was my first WrestleMania, watching it on TV, and they'd be like, oh shit, what's going to happen? But no, I think Cena's going to go over. I'm not that excited about the match. I think the match needs to be no DQ to separate it from the match they had before, but we'll see. So yeah, I've really babbled on. This is basically just a really long video, but yeah, so that's my opinions. Feel free to discuss them.